Alright guys, so the NA version of the game actually dropped quite a nice little campaign in the middle of the Land of Shadows event. Hope your farming is going really well and that you're getting a lot of EXP card, QP, and all that good stuff. This is a nice little thing that actually, I think, pairs fairly well in a maybe unintentional way with the Land of Shadows event, but we're going to talk about everything that this campaign is going to be bringing to the NA version of the game and more in today's video. But before we begin, if you have not already, make sure to leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content. And if you want to see me play FGO live, I do that every weekday over on my Twitch, linked down in the description down below. I usually start around 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's not really a definitive set time, but I will usually start around that time period and go for a couple of hours. With all that being said, let's go ahead and start talking about this campaign. So first and foremost, the main thing that's going to concern most masters is going to be this nice login bonus that we have right here. The reason I say it unintentionally pairs really well with the Land of Shadows event is that Land of Shadows still has about 4 to 5 days depending on when this video actually goes up. I think it'll be 4 or 3 when this goes up, but regardless, you're going to be logging in every day, or at least you should be logging in every day to get a couple of lotto farming going in, right? Like, regardless of how hard you're going on the event, you're still probably going to at least log in and use your daily AP, right? And so the nice thing is that if you log in for the next 5 days, you're going to be getting a nice chunk of Saint Quartz over here, and you can use that for whatever banners are going to be coming forward in the future. You could even use it for the banner that comes for the back to school campaign, but we'll talk about that in just a second. You can use these for Himiko, who's going to be coming out soon. You can use it for Van Gogh, if that's someone you're targeting, or Ibuki later on in the year. Just a lot of good Saint Quartz, to be using on all these banners and whatnot. And I think it's really nice, right? The other two things don't really apply to most masters. We have this really good comeback campaign. If you haven't logged in a long time and you're like, oh man, I don't want to play this game, I got shafted for Castoria, it might be a good time for you to go ahead and come back, because you'll get yourself a decent chunk of Saint Quartz. That's really the main thing you're getting. The apples are actually really nice as well. Friend points and the EXP cards are a little minimal. And now, if these were like 5-star EXP cards, it'd be a little broken. But yeah, you really be coming back for the Saint Quartz and the apples. There's also a Start Dash campaign. Again, this doesn't really concern most masters, because this is just if you're actually starting the game, right? Like, this is just if you're like a newer player. But hey, I don't know, maybe you're watching this game, maybe you found my channel and you were like, hey, there's a back to school campaign for FGO, maybe this is a good time for me to start the NA version of the game. Yeah, look at this, it's absolutely broken. You're getting just an absolute metric, a butt ton of Saint Quartz tickets, EXP cards, apples to kind of help you get started in the game. So if you haven't started playing, I guess this is your announcement to go ahead and start playing. But the thing that most people are going to really be caring about is going to be this new banner that they went ahead and dropped. It's going to have Ilia, MHX Alter, and it's going to have Miyu. Now, unfortunately, I don't think... I'm trying to think of how I wanted to word this, because I was going to say, I don't think Ilia is worth summoning for, but I want to say yet, because Ilia in the future will actually get this really broken buff over here that just gives her a 50% battery, right? Because right now, your two main single target buster casters, I guess you would say, would be like Sanzo and Ilia. Ilia does a lot more damage, but Sanzo's got the 80% battery. You could also technically say that Cersei's in the discussion as well because of her 120% battery. But as far as 5-stars are concerned, these are pretty much the two main ones that most people are going to be contemplating, right? It's like damage versus big battery. This greatly tips things into Ilia's favor, because having a 50% battery, I don't really need to explain to you guys, is stupid dummy broken, right? Not only does it make her really good for farming, which is kind of what you use Sanzo for. Like, if you were doing the Phase 2 for the Land of Shadow event, you actually know that there were some team builds that you would actually use Sanzo in that farming node, right? Like, she's really good. I mean, even just using her in that node for me, I was using her with Shen Gong, but it's broken how she could just fire her NP immediately, bop the first enemy, and also give, say, your arts or quick servants, depending on what builds you're doing, NP gain and stuff, right? It made it really broken. But Ilia is just nah, screw all that. I'm just going to absolutely nuke the enemy from lower Earth orbit, right? I'm just going to blow them up. So that's why I say, until she gets this skill right here, she gets this little upgrade, I don't think she's exactly worth rolling for in particular. Because when she gets the buff, it's going to come with some Prisma Ilia campaign. So if you're worried about well, what if I don't have her when the buff comes? It's like, don't worry, she'll get a rate up whenever she gets the buff, right? Like, obviously, they want to make some money. They want to make that guap, so they're not just going to give her a broken skill and then just be like, well, sorry, NA, you don't get the same campaign that they got. You know, they'll rework it in some way. I mean, look at, like, all the Camelot stuff. They were like, NA doesn't have this Camelot stage play. What if we just, I don't know, made Arthur and Ozymandias come back for some, what was it called, like a winter campaign or some Christmas related thing that they did? Yeah, so they'll make an excuse for her to come back. Miyu is not exactly super great. The really only thing that I want to see Miyu get to make her like, you know, this character is absolutely insane, you gotta summon for, is like if they just made this targetable, because everything else here is like kind of good. Like this could also be arguably targetable, but if this became targetable on top of this, she'd be like a really nice pseudo art support. So until they do something like that, I think she's going to be a little mid. She's not terrible, but she's not exactly great. Now, MHX Alter, this servant absolutely goes Hamtaro. If you're going to summon for anyone here, I think MHX Alter is definitely one of the ones that you want to go for. She's kind of like the definitive go-to single target quick servant, right? Because if you just want to burst somebody down for a boss, MHX Alter is definitely your girl. Her damage is really insane. The fact that, like, she has this huge damage mod against Saber enemies, and I don't believe she's gotten this yet, but she should be getting this good alignment one as well in the future, which just gives her such a wide net. I mean, like, God forbid you're fighting a good alignment Saber, right? Let's just say that. All Sabers are just destroyed by this lady, but it gives her an even bigger net of people that she can hit. Like, her natural damage is good, she can have double damage mods, and she's just capable of, like, insane amounts of damage, right? Like, you can just burst down enemies in like 2.5 seconds. And yeah, she may not have any survivability, but her survivability is that the enemy is in a grave after 3 turns, if not less than that, right? If she couldn't, you know, maybe that's only a double break bar enemy, she just absolutely claps him into oblivion. So she might be worth summoning for if you guys want. But yeah, I don't know. You know, is it worth like summoning on these guys when we have like future guys coming out is basically what I'm getting at. While she is like really good, the point that I kind of want to make is that you have like Himiko coming out, you have Van Gogh coming out within like the next month or two, right? And they're both going to be absolutely broken support type servants for Buster and Quick respectively. Although Van Gogh, she's like a quick support, you'll see people say, because she gives like a quick buff. But if you look at Van Gogh and what she does, she's pretty much generally applicable in like any team comp, right? Like you could splash her anywhere and she'll just give you insane buffs, right? Like her NP is one of the most broken support NPs in the entirety of the game. God forbid you are a foreigner, you will just be going even more plus, like just by using her in those team comps. And then Himiko, I mean, she's kind of what starts the whole trend that I say, like, oh, you'll notice that Buster servants kind of have this niche of doing overcharge and everything. Himiko's the one that kind of kicks that off. And then you get someone like Morgan that also plays into that. And that kind of starts the ability for Buster servants to have this overcharge niche, right? Where you can start being like, I could consistently get my Buster servants at like overcharge 2 and 3 because of the servants around them. And then Himiko also is one of those servants that's not only the support, but also the DPS. Very similarly to like, say Koyenskaya or Ruler Scotty, where they're the support, but they can also be your DPS. Himiko's the same way, because Himiko is literally just a big chungus, like, crit buster lady, right? She's gonna crit people into oblivion. And so it's like, if you want either of those two servants, it might be better to just, like, take the Saint Quartz you're getting from this, maybe some of the tickets you're getting from the Land of Shadows event, take all that stuff and just pocket it, keep it saved until we actually get a lot of these new servants coming up. But maybe you don't care about them. Maybe you've even got Scotty. If you've got Scotty, I think MHX Alter is like almost one of those like must-grab servants. She's like absolutely insane. It's in the same vein that like grabbing Ibuki for AoE arts farming, if you got Castoria, is insane. It's like the same way with that, but for single target, right? Like, just because you could pretty much bring her anywhere, and she will absolutely crush everything, right? Like, especially with double Scotty. In the same vein as Ibuki, ironically enough, also doesn't have any survivability, right? So maybe a little squishy, but really broken if you're bringing her to fight bosses. But I'll leave that up to you guys' discretion. Obviously, in the next couple of days, I'll do an MHX Alter video. We'll do an Ilia video, and then I think unless JP drops anything crazy, we should have time for a Miyu video as well. Might have to double upload or something on one day, so, you know, maybe be expecting that. But with all that being said, that's pretty much all the information for the back-to-school campaign. Again, I was kind of hoping the part 2, quote-unquote, for the Land of Shadows, just because this is dropping in the middle of this event going on. I was hoping that was going to be like a Coup Alter raid up, or maybe a a Scotty raid, but that was probably a lot of copium on my part, which is why I didn't mention it in any videos, because I was like, if I bring this up, it's going to get people excited, because, you know, it kind of makes sense, right? Lesengo does a lot of, like, part 2 banners, right? They try to keep a steady flow of content on both games, although they seem to really think that banners are content. If you look at the JP version, they're like, we have 8 banners going on. I'm like, yeah, but there's nothing to do, dog. Like, I have to, you know, actually be able to do something for the game to be entertaining. But anyway, we were kind of like coping on that on like stream and everything. We'd be talking about that for the last couple of days, but this is not too bad. Unfortunately for me, I already got MHX Alter, so I can just save for Okita, which is going to be the next banner, crossing my fingers that I'm hoping that I can do good on. Maybe I just did really bad on Ska Hawk's banner because I was greedy for NP2, should have just saved for Okita, but you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, let me know if you guys are going to be summoning on this banner or if you're going to be saving. All that good stuff in the comments down below. Again, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to, you know, talk to me, like interact, ask questions, that good stuff, I do stream every weekday over on my Twitch. So that is down in the description as well. But with all that being said, you guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.